Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Here are your hosts, Jmann and Danny, the Midwest motherfuckers. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann, and sitting in with me, instead of Danny tonight, is Bergie.
Hello, everybody.
So, because Danny is busy, I wanted to cut an episode immediately due to a situation that has arisen in my life that I'm fucking furious about. And to that I'm talking about last week when my friend's brother Joey backed into my Ford Fusion in their driveway. We were sitting in the living room and we were watching the Wild game. And Joey was like, "Oh, I got this coupon for going to the bar for free dinner, and if I don't use it tonight, it'll expire." And I'm like, "Well, you better get your ass out there." So he fucking pulls into the driveway and backs all the way down. Well, I was parked in the turnaround where I always park. And for this time, I didn't say, "Hey, by the way, watch out for my car." So as we're sitting there, I'm staring at a couch straight at the TV, which is in the corner. Rick, whose house it is, Rick's like, "I think my brother just hit your car." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure Joey just hit your car." I'm like, "He fucking better not if he wants to see his next birthday." And Joey comes in, he's like, "Oh man, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Are you fucking serious?" So we go outside in his car, he's pulled forward enough that we can use his lights to see. So what he did is back into the front passenger quadrant of my vehicle, and my fender over the tire was all smashed to shit. And there was some scrapage on my fucking hubcap or my rim. And then, my whole front end wrap on my Fusion. It's one piece. It's like a bra, basically. Yeah. He cracked that bitch in 5 or 6 places. Yes. And I'm just like, oh, God.
I did see you after work. And, it as shitty as it was, it could have been worse. And it's crazy that they make cars like they do now, where he was probably backing up. What was he going, 5 miles an hour, maybe?
Who fucking knows? Because I don't think he was paying attention. I bet you he was backing up, not thinking, and playing around in his phone. I threw that accusation. Like, what were you fucking texting, or what were you doing?
Of course not.
I guess I just wasn't paying attention. And oh man, it's just one of those things. I'm always pulling in the driveway, and then when I back out, I would just back out, whip around there, and then go. And man, I didn't think about that your car would be there. I thought I hit the tree at first. I'm like, oh fuck, and then I got out and I realized it was your car.
Oh, much better.
Right. Because he's driving like this, I think like a Buick or a Mercury Sable, and it's built a little bit tougher in the bumper by comparison. It's like a late 90s, early 2000 model. My Fusion's a 2012. So it was doomed from the start. But he just kept... And we're sitting there after it happened, still watching the game. I'm not flipping out. You would think I'd be like, "Are you fucking serious, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't sit by me right now. I'm going to go home." I'm like, fuck, I'm going to watch the game. Because he's like, "Well, I got insurance." I mean, that's what it's there for, right? They'll pay for it.
Yeah, it's oblivious to the aftermath of what insurance will do.
And it's funny because earlier in the week he was leaving the gym, he said, and he hit a patch of ice and he sideswiped another car like 4 days prior. So there's paint scrapes from another lady's car on the driver's door of his ride, and paint scrapes from my car on his fucking passenger side bumper.
Oh, he's just a technicolored car now.
I'm lucky that he hit it at like an angle, like he struck it at a weird angle, and the pressure's what cracked that front end wrap assembly. Versus if he just backed clean in, he would fuck my door up in my frame. Your door up
and your hood and everything, I'm sure.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. But so a second accident this week. He said, "Well, that's what I got insurance for. It's what I fucking pay him for. So whatever, and they'll take care of it. I got insurance, man. Don't worry about it." And I'm like, God damn. And Joey's like 20. Oh, God, how old is Joey? Is he 28 or 29 now? He's kind of immature for his age in handling the real world. He lived at home much later than most. And now that he lives with Rick bought his grandma's house, so they live together. So he works, and then he hangs out. He goes to a lot of concerts. He doesn't have kids or a girlfriend that I know, but he doesn't have a lot of responsibility. They don't have a fucking dog or anything. And he's just very cavalier about it. Oh, man, these things happen. But the insurance is good. And I'm like, well, you do realize that you're probably going to have your insurance go up at least.
Oh, yeah.
And after I left that night, I'm like, you know what? He's going to get stuck paying my fucking deductible.
Oh, sure.
Because one of the last things he said before I left, he's like, "Well, man, that's going to be an expensive dinner I didn't even eat." And I'm thinking, like fucking $500 expensive, dildo.
Yeah, fucking no coupon for that.
So that's Thursday. Friday after work, I take it to the shop to get it looked at. So I drop it off and they give me a loaner. And they give me a Nissan Sentra, which I didn't think about at the time. Like, I got as much shit out of my car as I could that I needed. And then I realized, okay, well, now I got to disconnect. And this is the worst part. I got to disconnect the fucking car seats.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. Yeah. I took them out. I put them in the Sentra. I left. And then I went to my parents' house where the girls were because they were watching them for me. I was supposed to pick them up like right after work. But no, I had to go do this car shit. I go to put the car seats into the Sentra. It's the size of a Ford Focus. Smaller back seat, less legroom, and the hooks are a bitch to get to because the seats are all cramped.
Sure.
I spent probably 10 minutes disconnecting them at the body shop and probably 25 to 30 trying to put them back in, and they're not even fully connected all the way. There's like 4 points of contact. There's a seatbelt and 3 hooks. Yeah, I got a seatbelt and 2 or 1 hook. I don't remember. So it's not totally as safe. So this is one of those secondary side effects is having to fuck around with the child seat, and then my kids are strapped in, and they're not 100% as safe as they were in my car. I was just cussing this fucking car into oblivion.
Yeah. Oh, it's amazing how simple shit like that can just piss you off, just over the edge.
I kept trying to, it's like a clip, and you push a tab and you hook it over something inside the seat to lock it into place.
Like a carabiner kind of?
There we go. Thank you.
Okay.
I couldn't get it to go. There's not enough space. And I kept fucking around and fucking around and fucking around, and it wouldn't go. And finally I just said, fuck this! I was too pissed off on the house. I'm like, all right, let's go. Get your fucking boots and jackets on. I'm really pissed off, and nobody better piss and moan about anything tonight. You better just fucking be easy like the breeze.
Let's go before I fuck this car up, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and this was going into my days off, so I had a few days to, not have to be everywhere all the time. And so a few days later, I was going to a computer store in St. Louis Park to get a laptop of my own for work purposes with the show. And I knew the way I had to go there. Well, some asshole wouldn't let me in. I was on 610. He wouldn't let me on to 252 to get to 100. So I'm like, okay, well, fuck that guy, but I'll just take 169. Well, I was going down 169, and the difference between my Fusion and the Sentra is my Fusion tells me how many miles I have left in the tank.
Oh, no.
And I'm going, and I'm driving for a good 20 minutes down 169, and the gas light comes on. So I got off on Cedar Lake Road or I don't know, some major thoroughfare that I only knew the name of because I was listening to the radio and they advertised shops in the West End by Minnetonka. I got off on Minnetonka Boulevard then, and I called Neil. I'm like, dude, can you see where I'm at? Can you MapQuest me real quick and tell me where there's a gas station? He's like, well, you're by a Home Depot and the shops at West End, and there should be a gas station around there. The only gas station around there was a fucking gas pump at a Costco. To which I am not a member.
Not a member, yeah.
Well, I don't think I can do anything about it.
Yeah, there's really not much over there, is there? There's all sorts of businesses, but nothing for... Well, an SA, probably 4 or 5 miles up the road, but...
In what direction? I went driving aimlessly north again, and then I turned onto some fucking road, and then I ended up going through a neighborhood, and then down Theodore Wirth Parkway. I'm like, okay, yeah, no, I kind of know where this is. Fucking, where's it go? Oh, my God. At that point, I'd gone 3 miles on a gas light, and I don't know what the capacity is on this piece of shit.
Yeah.
Then I get into an industrial park. Then I'm down by Target Field.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I know this bridge. This bridge is right by MCTC. Oh, look, there's Target Field. I hooked a right. I went down, I don't know what that's, 10th or whatever the fuck that is. Mm-hmm. And then I hooked another right. So I'm driving through a part of Minneapolis I'm not at all familiar with. Where's the gas station? Where's the gas station? I'm like, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck. My blood pressure's rising. Mm-hmm. With every half mile. Then I saw Children's Hospital. Then I saw Abbott Northwestern. Then 10 more blocks went by, and I kept getting stopped at red lights behind buses. I'm like, no, please. I'm like, don't fucking do this. I'm starting to have a panic attack. Don't fuck me over like this. And I'm just like, God damn you, Joey. This is your fucking fault.
Right.
If I had my car, I wouldn't have to worry about how far I'm driving looking for gas. I would have known I could have just jumped back on 100 and gone up to Excelsior and found one of a couple gas pumps there. But you know what? I should have just done that anyway. But I'm like, oh, what's worse? Break down on a residential road or break down on Highway 100?
Yeah, fuck that.
I shouldn't have erred on the side of caution. I don't even know what street I was on. I think I was on 38th or 4th. I was in southeast Minneapolis in the hood. I drove through some really shitty parts. I saw a gun and ammo shop, a couple pawn shops, a check cashing place.
Yeah, if you're down by Abbott, yeah, you are.
I kept going for miles past there, back west, and I found the one goddamn SA in the whole area. And I was just so happy, and I don't know if I coasted in on fumes or what the fuck was going on, but I made it, and I fueled up, and then it was finding my way back to the computer store, which was a journey unto itself. I found my way at 35 to 94 to 394. I fucking got there. I got there and my brain was spent. I'm like, I need to be looking at options for laptops. And all I can think about is how pissed off I am right now. And I just want to punch Joey right in the goddamn Adam's apple right now. If he was here, he'd be like, oh, hey, man, how's it going? Like, ah!
And that's this Joey character. I do not know him, but he reminds me a lot of my little brother. Doesn't quite get the outside world, and he himself had car problems recently, and my father and I were struggling at my house trying to get his car started. Very odd. He put the key in the ignition, all power would come on, but it wouldn't click, wouldn't turn over, you wouldn't hear the starter or anything, so my dad and I tear apart his dash and digging around in his steering column and all sorts of shit. About an hour and a half passes by, and I look at my brother, and he's sitting there on his cell phone just fucking around on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, and it's just the things that I mean, he said he's what, 29?
I think.
So I mean, he's not that young, but
29 or 30.
But the younger generations just take so much for granted. It's scary.
He never had to grow up much, and his mom's even said, well, he's kind of young in spirit, which is a nice way of saying that he's a late bloomer.
Yeah. Oh, and my brother's the exact same way. He was given handouts by my mother and father when my first car I had to work for. Anything other than Walmart clothes, going to school and high school, I had to pay for. I had to get my first job at 16, washing dishes at a golf course restaurant.
Fuck.
To buy the things and get the things that I wanted. And it taught me to work and taught me to accomplish things, I guess. But he's senior year of college down at the U. Tokes on a blunt and smokes a bowl every day, and just is his own little free world and free spirit. But I've tried to have that coming to real life meeting with him a couple times, just saying like, dude, when you're done with college, what are you gonna do?
What is he planning to do?
He's in a drum corps right now, so he drums, and he's very, very talented at anything musical. He is a musician at heart and mind, and the kid's a genius. Anything musical, but as far as like social interaction, being responsible, and anything else, adult life, the kid's completely clueless.
So I shouldn't ask him to cat sit for me.
Oh well, I mean, he might be able to do that.
All he's got to do is feed him twice a day and maybe
Right.
shovel some poops.
I think that might. He could probably accomplish that. And I hate to knock on my brother, and I'm really trying not to.
He's your brother, so you can do it because it's
but
out
I
of
can't,
love.
And I've told him all this face to face. Just dude, when you get out of college, life is gonna hit you in the face so fucking hard. Because right now he actually donates his sperm for money, and he makes a killing. Dude.
Where's he doing this? Because many years ago, like 15, 20 years ago, me and Neil had this idea that when we got 18, we were going to donate jizz and make money, and we never found a place.
He's doing it somewhere down in Minneapolis. I don't know if it's around the U. He's living on campus down there at a frat house kind of dealy with him and a bunch of buddies. But him and a couple of his roommates go down there, and being a redhead, as him and I are, you actually get a fucking bonus.
What?
It's one of the small perks for being a ginger. He gets more money to go down there and jerk off into a cup. And I've asked him several times, I always want to know what the inside of one of those places looks like. And he's like, yeah, they just set us up in these little phone booth things and give us these magazines. And are the magazines laminated? Oh yeah, it's fucking laminated Playboys, and they just jerk off into a cup.
I'm making a horrible face right now at the thought of this.
Yeah. But I mean, the kid gets paid for it, and I mean, what else could a college stoner do? What else would he rather do to get paid? Fucking nothing. Jerk off, get paid, go buy some weed, and sit there and smoke weed and play music.
And of course, he gets the "you have no soul" bonus.
Yep, the no soul ginger bonus. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I know he makes decent money. In high school, I used to donate plasma. Me and my buddy would get in his little shitty ass Pontiac Bonneville and drive down to Blaine, 20 minutes away from where him and I lived, and we would donate plasma. And what, $100 a week, maybe? That was gas money for him and I to go, fuck around, and that was cool. Driving around in your car, that's cool. Just drive around.
Yeah, that's way shittier of a deal that you got to have a needle in your arm for that.
This kid gets to jerk off and get more money
Well,
than what I got.
I've had jobs where I've jerked off before. on the clock.
Yeah.
Because it was a long, boring day, or I was all horned up and I couldn't focus. Sometimes you gotta. But if that was me going to one of those sperm banks like that, I would have to stand in the middle of the room. I wouldn't put my pants down. I'd just have my dick out of my zipper, and I'd just be like hunched over like I was in the corner in the middle of the room, just like, all right, let's fucking get this over with. Let's get this over with.
Yeah, you'd have to ejaculate flaccid. You think it's probably possible? There's no way I could get a hard on in a room that I know thousands of other guys have jerked off.
Well, maybe not thousands, hundreds, at least dozens.
I would at least hundreds. I would think
it's probably the same feeling that like people that go to Yale get when they walk through like the Yale library. Like, think of all the great people that have come here and learned before me. So it's basically like, think of all the men that have come here and pounded their meat in this very same spot where I just sat down on the chair. And why does my ass itch?
And it reminds me, I guess this visualizing this reminds me of the first time I ever visited Sex World in Minneapolis. You ever gone into that place?
I did one time. It was a skeevy fucking place.
It is fucking sketchy. There's an upstairs. So let me paint a picture for those of you who haven't been there. You walk into a door and there is a giant, I'm talking 14-foot long, 6 feet around penis with a pair of balls the size of a Volkswagen Beetle.
I don't remember that.
Oh, yeah, it's chilling right there in the doorway. And there's a saddle that you can sit on it and ride this big fucking golden
mechanical
dick.
Penis.
It's not mechanical. It's just a statue. But you can, you get pictures of you riding on a big golden dick. And just to the south of that is a peep show room where there's a mischievous lady standing there or sitting there in shitty lingerie, and you can put money through this little hole to watch her dance. There's also an upstairs. And the upstairs, which is where I'm kind of picturing myself right now, it has this long hallway, and on either side looks like changing room doors, like if you were to go into a Target or a Walmart, it's changing rooms. And so you can see people's feet. They're little individual rooms, and I'm walking up there and I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? What are these rooms? And I realized that around the 4 or 5 pairs of feet that I can see are not only shoes but pants. And I'm thinking, this is fucking
Are you going
weird.
glory hole with this story?
It's not, no. It's a step down from a glory hole, because there's nothing you're receiving from anyone else. It's you jerking yourself off. So I kind of creep one of these doors open, an unoccupied door, and there's a TV screen with a small little, a bill, you can put money into, like a change machine, and it plays a porn for you. And you sit there in this booth, and you jerk off in this fucking booth. And there are people using these things.
They're probably not getting cleaned too often, so I don't care how many Clorox bleach wipes you have.
As I turn around to leave in disgust, I see this little old frail black lady with these ginormous, like, yellow kitchen gloves on.
Elbow length?
Yes, and she's pushing this little cart with sanitary napkins and, like, Kleenex around on it. So I'm sure after these dudes get done blowing their junk and shit all over the fucking walls and TV screens in these little tiny rooms, this poor little old lady goes up and cleans all their shit off the walls.
You know what, though? That's not the worst job she's ever had, I guarantee it. If she's that completely immune to cleaning up spuzz all day, she's done some dirty things in her day. Possibly in the parking lot of a bowling alley for money.
I guess. That's a good way to look at it. Maybe it was like a promotion for her in a way.
Here's your squeegee. Here's your elbow gloves. Get in there and take care of that cum. Well, that's somebody's mom.
So that's my envision of a sperm bank. It's just these little tiny rooms that they send you in and say, here's a cup, fill it with your man juice. And how weird would it just to walk back out in the hallway? I've taken UAs before at different places. In the military, you take UAs and you hold up your big. Well, not big, but your little
sample
cup of pee. You got to hold it over your shoulder so they can see it, and you walk around, and fucking label it and all this other. Like, do you do that when you have this little cup of semen? Do you hold it up high and walk around like, hey, this is mine, and about to be some ladies after they put it in a freezer for a couple months?
Here you go. Turn this into a jissicle and then give it to some lesbians.
Shoot it up some lady.
Because they deserve some babies, too. Something like that. All my knowledge that I can draw upon is from what I've seen in movies where they go to these places and then they're just in the room and they finish. And then they bring the cup back out and set it on like a cart with a label. Yeah. Or bring it to the counter and set it down. God, I could use some extra scratch, and I do like to abuse myself.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like to come?
Who doesn't?
And that might actually make me come harder if the thought of that I'm going to get paid for this.
Right.
Like right as you gag, you're like, I'm almost there. Ka-ching!
Ka-ching, money.
Hopefully they can't hear you in the next room. It'd be awkward if some guy's like, I know we're getting paid for this shit, right?
This is awesome, right? Yeah.
Hey, you're pretty fast. Thank you, sir.
I guess I could if I got paid. I don't think I would. It would have to be a fair amount of money. And I never asked the dollar amount that he gets paid, but he said it's great money.
Well, to him it's great money because he doesn't have any fucking responsibility or doesn't work, so he
do
doesn't
have a
necessarily
very
know what a living
valid
wage is.
But to take it all into vision here, mine was getting a needle stuck in me and getting stuff taken out of me. His form of money, it's just a little extra side.
It's rocketing out of him.
Is literally coming out of his dick. Mine was coming out of my arm.
That's a raw deal.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose
out of your dick are genuinely.
I heard rumors years ago that the U of M would buy healthy testicles. You could donate a testicle and get like
$7,000.
I was more than that. It was like 23 or 30 grand. I'm like,
I
who's
heard-
going to give you 30 grand for a ball?
Right.
But then you're like, how many thousands of people go to the U, and they each pay like what 16 to 20 grand a year?
Yeah.
A year, right? Not a semester, hopefully, because that's like St. Thomas money.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a year.
So do the math on that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he estimated his college debt when he walks out of there at just under $60,000.
Jesus Christ! Yeah. You know what mine was?
Right.
Zero. Out of pocket.
Yeah.
Community and state school.
Yeah.
On the cheap.
Right.
So here's a shout out to Metropolitan State University and Anoka Ramsey Community College.
I went to North Hennepin Community College. That was good. I just did the whole general education thing. I didn't pay much prior to military. It was maybe $1,000 or $2,000 that I came out with after.
That's not bad.
No, not at all. But
that's like 2 paychecks.
And that's exactly what it was. It was paid off within a few months of me actually graduating. So that to me was one of my opening points to my little brother, just saying, dude, this is gonna suck. The next 7 years of your life are gonna fucking blow. And don't expect them to be like, hey man, just pay us whenever. Like, he's got 6 months to get into some sort of internship somewhere, and if he is not, his fucking college bills start.
Shit.
On the 6 months that he's out.
Now back to Joey, and he is my friend, and if he hears this, I don't want him to think I'm ripping on him. It's just, my life is nothing like his life.
Sure.
Which you also don't have kids.
Mm-mm. No, I do not.
When you have kids, anytime somebody who doesn't have kids tells you about a problem, you want to be like, fuck you!
Right.
Do you want to know what I had to deal with last week? They took a shit in the tub when I was out of the room, and then they bailed it over the side of the tub, and I had to come in there and scoop wet turds off the floor into the toilet, and then they cried about it because they didn't want me to flush their poos away because they said that they were poo monsters and they thought they were little brown boats. Or, let me tell you about, and I've mentioned this on the air with my youngest, about the time that she was at the table and I had my back to her doing the crossword puzzle, and she's like, I picked my poops. I'm picking my poops. And I turn around and I look at her hand on her. She had reached on the back of her diaper and touched the poops. And then I'm like, why would you? And I stopped and I looked at her face and she had like getting a little poop smear in between her eyebrows. She had like anointed herself.
The poop queen.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. It's like that shitter. Hey, have you ever been like anywhere trying to accomplish anything and all of a sudden your kids both start screaming and fighting with each other at the same time? Like, no, please shut the fuck up. I have to buy a replacement appliance because the one at home broke. And if you want your clothes to be clean and me to not have to wash them in the goddamn bathtub with one of those old-timey Oregon Trail scrub boards like fucking Nicole Kidman in the movie Far and Away, you better shut the fuck up while I talk to the Whirlpool man. Jesus Christ. So, Joey's had his string of different jobs. He worked at like Frito-Lay. I don't know where he's working now. He does like warehouse work. Really fucking cool guy. I enjoy talking about music. Music is his passion. I also have music as a passion. I mean, he goes to shows constantly. His thing is memorabilia, getting shit signed.
Sure.
So he's got this museum worth of signed posters and shit in his bedroom. He goes out of town for concerts. He's gone to Chicago and Vegas and I think Atlanta and shit, which is awesome. And I'm jealous that I can't just do fun stuff. That my dreams died back on October 11th of 2010 when the oldest came. They had to cut her out of their mom's uterus, each of them, C-sections. So that's when my dreams died, or at least what was left of them after the first time I heard. I peed on a stick. I'm like, no, 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 no. I told you not to do that. It's not real until you pee on an EPT. And she's like, I'm pregnant. It's like, okay, it's okay. We'll be fine. We'll take care of this. Inside, you're just like, motherfucker! That's when you don't plan to have a child, that's your reaction. Like when I had to tell my mom that I knocked up my ex the first time. And I had worked up the courage to tell her. She was already I think 2 months along at that point. And I come in the house. I'm like, all right, I'm doing this. I come around the corner. There's my mom. She's already crying. I'm like, uh-oh.
Oh, shit.
Here's a hitch in my
Abort.
video.
Abort.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no, no.
Oh,
she's on the phone crying, and she gets off the phone. I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, my friend Karen down in Florida is dying. I'm like, oh, no. And I went to give her a hug, right? She's like, it's okay. She's made her peace with it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have to tell you something, and I was all ready to tell you, but you're already crying, so I guess now's the moment. I'm like, I knocked her up. And she's like, what? I'm like, I knocked up my ex's name. And she's like, here's her reaction. No! 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 Why no?
No way.
That was her fucking reaction.
Wow.
So then you ask her what her reaction was, and you tell that. She's like, no, I wasn't. I was like, yay, I get to be a grandma. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. You can't even fake elation to convince anybody that you were that excited about it. Don't fucking pander to somebody's ego with, oh, I was so excited to be a great. No, you stupid motherfucker. You were mad at me because it was an accident.
Yeah.
And then the second time you were more mad because it was an accident. And the second time,
you son of a bitch didn't learn.
Right. So the second time when I told him that it happened again, and my mom's like, oh, jeez. And my dad apparently said this. Well, now he's really fucked. That was his reaction. Not to my face.
Oh, okay.
I was gone. Joey, bless his heart, has never had to live with any of that shit.
Sure. And yeah, no, by no means am I saying that, our lives are better than these two guys or anyone else.
They're different.
They are very different.
More complicated.
More. And everyone is special.
Do we mention your military?
So I am. And you've seen the movie Full Metal Jacket, I would assume.
No.
No?
Believe it or not.
So
I've seen the scene with Drill Sergeant.
So yes, you got, the big drill sergeant, the guy who's yelling and screaming at everyone, but the people here he yells at throughout the entire movie have their own little character plots and personalities and everything, and it's so strange talking to people who are in the military and didn't go through that with me, because there's always that Gomer pile where that the recruiter who signed him up is just thinking, oh, this motherfucker's just getting me paid, and there's no reason for this guy to be in the military, but they he's there, and you got the goofball who's always fucking around and smarting off.
That's probably me.
Probably, yeah. That's you to a T. But to all these different personalities, different lives, everyone has people who they're similar to. I guess people are different, but people are the same as far as personalities, I guess. Yeah,
I just this whole time, multiple times now, as the days have gone by since this, and more issues with this car situation stacked up, I just keep saying to myself, fucking Joey, man. And you know what's the oddest thing? Is it's not the only time that a member of this family has been with me for car issues. Months ago, I think it was November, Rick and I, his older brother, who I used to work with. So Rick and I were in my older Ford Escort on our way to go to a Ring of Honor wrestling show. But we were going down the road. I'm like, oh, I better stop for gas. I started going up a hill, and my car started making this... And I lost all power. So instead of coasting to the other side of the hill, I pulled over immediately. Just on instinct, like, oh shit. Yeah. Then I realized the car wouldn't fucking start. Well, then we had the unenviable task of having to push the car. And I can't be like, well, Rick, get out and push. I'm going to steer. Rick's a bigger guy than me. He outweighs me by probably 60 pounds. So I'm like, all right, you get in and steer and I'll push. I was cool with that. By the way, if you're pushing a car uphill, it is a hell of a calf workout. Oh, yeah. It is awesome.
Absolutely.
Then a cop showed up, and I think I've told this story before. Anyway, so the cop, I have told this story. So the cop showed up, it was a CSO, and he starts giving us a push with the bumper and shit. It didn't work. I was like, nope, stop, you're going to fuck it up. Yeah. We start pushing it, we get it over the hump. I tried to run alongside and jump in at Dukes of Hazzard stop. No, it wouldn't happen. I was afraid I was going to die. And then we start going. So there's Rick steering my Escort down the hill, me jogging behind it, and a CSO driving behind me.
Not even offering you a ride.
I don't know. He probably didn't think that I was going to jog behind it. So anybody driving by sees what looks like the world's most retarded slow speed chase. Like, what is going on? Is this guy trying to make a getaway from the cops and he left his buddy behind? What an asshole. So yeah, and we're sitting there in the living room, that night when it happened, and Rick's like, man, I'm always around when you have car issues. You should probably just stop hanging out with me. I'm like, yeah, thanks for reminding me, fucko. But this is not the first time I've used this particular body shop, so I'm going to give more free shout-outs to Heritage Auto Body in Coon Rapids.
Have you gotten the damage yet, the estimate?
No. No, I know. He said I need a new fender. He's going to do an alignment, and he's going to give me a new front end wrap. He called. He's like, are you okay with aftermarket parts? I'm like, no. I want Ford factory original parts on that thing because that's what was on it, God damn it.
Yes.
And that car had like a scratch on one door that's very tiny. That thing was in pristine shape. And you better make sure that the tie rod in and the tire's good, and hopefully nothing's fucked up with like the drive shaft or any of that. I don't think he hit it hard enough to jostle any of the internal working parts. I drove it, it sounded fine, and drove fine. It wasn't pulling too far to one side or another. But still, what happens if, say, they fix it cosmetically, and a week later there's something wrong with it?
Got a radiator leak.
I think they would have found that by now.
You would hope.
But then what do? I can't be like, oh, hey, by the way, insurance, more stuff? Because they're like, what the fuck? You've been driving it. It's just this hassle. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, if it comes down to it, this is my one opportunity to go on Judge Judy. I'm going to drag Joey there. And I'm going to, it's like, he's generally not, I wouldn't say he's great at debating when he's angry. He's usually very fucking calm and mellow. It's a testament to the content of his character that he never really gets too worked up. If he's excited, he's like, oh, that's fucking bullshit, man. I just don't understand. That's like his loudest tone. You've heard me get hot before. No, yeah. Joey don't have a temper, so I think if we go on Judge Judy, it's going to be a race to see who gets laughed out of the fucking courtroom first. Him for being too mellow and generally aloof, or me for getting pissed off and be like, listen here, Judith. I don't need any of your bitchy sass. You get paid $40 million a year to scream at people that have nothing. And right now, I didn't think you were really a judge. You're on during the day. You're the most popular show on TV because you're one of the only shows on when unemployed pieces of shit are sitting around with their thumbs in their ass. So quit acting like you're so fucking high up on the hog that she'll give me money.
You know what she would do, though, is get it out of him if he was on his phone or not. She's good at getting people to rat themselves out.
Is she?
For stupid shit like that, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
She is a sly fox.
Well, she's a dirty bitch is what she is. $40 million a year.
Would you?
Fuck her?
Yeah.
No. Here's why I would not fuck Judge Judy. She has money, but she's not going to give it to you. She's Jewish.
That's true.
Which is slandering Jews, but you know what? Get over it. Also, she's so fucking analytical and bitchy, she'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ, are you almost done? This is she'd complain the whole time.
Yeah, I tell you what, you're doing wrong.
And not in the way that makes you want to punch her in the face like my ex used to, but in the way that makes you want to fucking grab her by the neck and drag her down the hallway and drown her in the bathtub. Yeah. I don't think I can handle it. She'd be like, come on, are you fucking me? Or are we just cuddling? Can you use that pathetic dick of yours and show me what's up? That bailiff on my show has 12 inches of hard chocolate meat. He gives it to me all the time. What you're doing right now, you're barely touching the sides.
That would make you feel like shit.
You'd leave there and like she'd probably get off. And even if you did a good job, she wouldn't give you credit for it. And you'd just leave there all disheveled and broken-spirited.
I can't even make this 60-year-old my bitch.
No, she'd probably take the gavel and jam the business end up your asshole as revenge for not getting her off fast enough or hard enough. So no, I would not fuck Judge Judy.
That's why I like playing this game with you, because you're so analytical about it. And I'm just, thinking, hey, yeah, sure.
I delve deep into it. That's why when Danny and I do the Would You Rathers, he's like, no, I wouldn't do that. I'm like, you need to think about this. Like the one about, and I'll throw a few your way. We'll see what your answers are.
Sure.
All right. So one of them was, would you rather drink a shot glass of your own cum or a gallon of your own piss?
A gallon of my own piss. Absolutely.
Why is everybody so quick to go for the piss?
Because I think I could down piss.
It's a gallon of piss.
So delving deeper into this, what the rules? Do I have to consume the whole thing without vomiting for a certain amount of time? Because I'm pretty sure I could sip on piss and not vomit. The second my semen touched my lips, I would lose it.
First off, it shouldn't touch your lips. It's a shot glass. It should go right on your fucking tongue and down your throat like you're getting ready to jump on the last train out of town before anybody realizes that you were in that particular hotel in Thailand that week.
I don't think it would even make it to the back of my throat.
You've smelled your own cum, right?
Oh, of course. It gets everywhere.
Mine doesn't get everywhere.
Mine gets everywhere.
Mine usually gets...
pretty messy.
Mine usually gets around the belly button and sometimes halfway up towards the tits. But also from the story in episode 17, the 24-year Timberwolves overtime shit, like I said, I'm pretty sure I've done damage to my pelvic floor from holding that shit in for so long that I don't come as hard as I used to.
Oh, dude.
It's a little disappointing. I have to kind of stop breathing and almost not choke myself, but force myself to not breathe to really get to the point where I come as excitedly as I used to. And it's not because vaginas are boring now.
Right.
That's just where I'm at. So, like, the cum passes the smell test. It's not a disgusting smell.
No, it's really not, but it's the whole mentality of I don't know. I'd put that in someone else's mouth all day, not mine. But
I love you, so swallow this. But if you ask me to taste my own, I'm not going to do it. I'm
just like
sorry.
butt play. Just like butt play. I'll play with your butt, but don't you fucking dare touch mine.
I had a chick try to slip me one once. I was lucky enough to clench when she did it, and she's like, just try it. I bet you'll like it. Gary liked it. She was comparing my ability to enjoy it to her ex-convict previous boyfriend. I'm like, I don't care if he liked it. That's his asshole.
He liked it because he's an ex-con.
And more importantly, she didn't spit on her finger, dude. She tried to, like,
raw dog.
Dry penetrate my asshole.
Ugh.
So what, I gotta fucking put petroleum jelly or bacitracin on my beehole for the next 6 months while I wait for an anal fissure to heal from the tearing of her trying to force it in as I squirm my way out of it? No, thank you.
And don't get me wrong, I've heard it's great. I got buddies who love that shit. But yeah, no, thank you. That's just not my...
Give me a nuck. Give Daddy another nuck. Give me another nuck. You know Daddy needs another nuck.
So back to the jism story, because this is funny, and I'm kind of wanting to tell you this after I said it got everywhere. But so... I'm known for distance with
You've told me this. You come far.
Yeah. So it's really fucking weird. People are listening to this. I mean, you've told me you've come far before. But so we have these conversations. There's nothing gay about it. No, there's not. Let me we're
reiterate.
Not doing it on each other.
Well, knock on wood. Hopefully, we're never stuck in a Saw movie and it's like, how much cum are you willing to bathe in to save your life?
Just don't get it in my mouth.
Oh, God. Can I at least stand across the room with my back to him so that I only feel it on, like, my butt cheeks? Because I know he's got distance, but I don't want to see it coming.
So I dated this girl for quite a while, and we separated. And it was probably 2 or 3 years. And we randomly hooked up again because she was in town. And missionary style, I can get all over your hair and face, and no problem. Just... right from fucking missionary. So edge of the bed, I'll fucking shoot it over your head. So we haven't seen, talked, or whatever for years. And we randomly hook up again one night, and we're doing it on the bed, missionary style. And I'm about to finish, and instantly, as I pull out, her reaction is to clench the bed sheets, throw her head back, and try to look away from my wiener. But it was.
Why, is she afraid she's going to turn to stone if she stares right into
it? She
it?
didn't want to get it in her face, is what. But after all those years, it's like made my mark on her. She knew that as
that
soon
was your
as,
thing.
Yeah, as soon
Bergie's going to shoot a load right on my chin if I'm not careful.
As soon as it's out of there, I'm fucking Peter Northen all over your face. But she knew. She knew and she remembered, so I made an impact on someone. But that is why I say it gets everywhere. So it gets everywhere. And no, I mean, I'm not saying that it's... I don't know, I just don't think I would a gallon of piss, still.
You've never tasted piss, have you?
No.
That's why my answer was cum. I've tasted piss.
You've tasted piss.
I've tasted my own piss. Actually, I've tasted somebody... oh my God, I didn't bring this up at the time. I had this chick once who was on top of... We were 69ing. And I was like hanging off the edge of the bed. Like, my head was hanging off the edge of the bed so that I wasn't, like, totally suffocating on a cunt.
In your butthole.
And like, I'm licking her clit, and then I felt like what I thought was a squirt, and it was a very not good taste. Oh. So if she did squirt, cool, but after all these years, I'm pretty sure she peed in my mouth a little, because your pee hole's right next to your clit if you're a chick. And I just sitting there with her on top of me, and I couldn't like get off because it was in my mouth, and if I talked, it'd go everywhere. Yeah. And I couldn't. Was I going to swallow it so I could say, "Oh, gross, you peed in my mouth"? Because then I swallowed pee, so I had to like push her off and spit it onto her carpet, which was my revenge for her peeing in my mouth. It was gross. The consistency of pee is like watered down beef gravy, but way saltier.
Way salty.
It's not a good taste, and I gargled it for points in a scavenger hunt. Shot glass of cum, 24/7 for me.
Okay. Next question.
You can watch a minute of pornography starring your parents, or you watch an hour of porn with your parents in the room.
Oh my God. I have another funny story about this too. Jesus.
My rationale was awesome. I just discussed this with our number one fan, Tim, the other day, and he also was like agreeing with me, I think, about the 1 minute of porn star your parents.
I don't know, man. A minute?
1 minute of your parents fucking.
Or 60 with them in the room.
There's no guarantee that
Like, are they just
you're going to see their faces.
watching you? Oh, there's no guarantee you're going to see.
You're all sitting on the couch and watching a porn, or else you're watching a porn and it's 60 seconds of them fucking.
It's got to be a minute of them fucking.
Exactly, because you can repress a minute's worth of your parents
absolutely.
fucking. Hopefully there's none of that face action of them like looking at each other like the Tommy Lee sex tape. Where it's like, I love you.
You're the best.
Camera keeps fucking rotating back and forth on their faces, and then he's steering the boat with his peignoir.
Yeah.
60 minutes of it, there's a running commentary.
Yeah, I thought about it, and it's just like the look on my dad's face would just is too much.
It's odd that you can simulate in your mind what you think the look on his face would be when he's doing it.
I think my dad would be into it. That's what. Not because I'm in the room, but so growing up, I found my dad's porn collection at a fairly young age. I think I was maybe 13, 14, and his porn collection was a fucking entire closet full of shit. My dad was a porn freak, so that is the only reason I think I couldn't sit down and watch a porn with him is because I think he would probably enjoy porn, and he'd forget about me. But knowing that he's into that stuff, I can't. I'll watch them do it for a minute rather than sit there next.
It's just all the audio commentary of him making comments or her making comments. Sure. Like, God, your mom. Oh, she gags on a cock like nothing. This chick's a pro. That'd be awful.
That would be weird.
Here's the next one. Would you rather be raped by a really long skinny dick or a really short fat dick?
Just because of the intestinal damage I know it would cause at a really fat short dick. I don't think I could do a real long skinny dick.
Well, the long skinny dick would be the equivalent to like those sesame breadsticks you see at like the Olive Garden. And it might actually get you in the prostate.
Yeah.
So,
well, how much of that are we taking? Like the whole thing? Like 12 inches of that thing?
I didn't really sit down and hammer out the logistics of how much of a long skinny dick's going in your ass. It's the skinny one slides in easier.
Sure.
Right? It's going to go deeper and maybe fuck some shit up. Yeah. And you've seen the words rectal trauma on a death certificate before if you've watched enough movies. But that short skinny cock's fat enough that you're going to be crapping pancakes probably for life. So when that finally goes in there, you've already torn. So, I mean, the main event is not anything beyond the insertion. Once it's in you, you're just like, all right, well, I'm ruined. But the skinny dick is in. You're like, okay, it's in me. And, okay, what's going on here? Okay, that tickles. And then stop. Well, take your time. Take your time. I like where. Okay, stop. Don't look at me.
Yeah, still short fat dick.
I don't want any eye contact, you son of a bitch.
Still short fat.
Would you rather get a proctology exam by E.T. or a noogie from the Incredible Hulk? I just want to remind you that E.T. has long, very skinny fingers.
They light up, though, so that might be kind of entertaining.
Well, you can't see your own prostate light up.
His fingers glow.
Unless you're turning your head back like an owl, like almost 180 degrees. How are you going to see the light coming out of your own asshole? Is it going to illuminate? Like, is the light going to shoot out of your dick hole?
Maybe your mouth.
So bright. Your mouth, really? It's going to go all the way up the opposite end?
I'd have to take E.T. I would think Hulk would probably kill you.
That's the point, is you fucking die fast. E.T. might be probing you for a long time. And as I said to Danny, he's got those long fingers. He's not just checking your prostate, all right? He's wrapping 2 fingers around that bitch and turning it like a doorknob a few times. Would you rather be forced to cut off your balls with a hedge clippers?
Jesus.
Or I'm going to change it up. Before it was your own tongue with a sawzall. Now it's going to be your own tongue with a rusty soup can lid.
Fucking shit. To not talk. See, I'm thinking long term on this one. To never talk again or to never blow a load again. Never nut.
You'll still blow a load. There just won't be any substance.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dry load.
It's a dry load.
Which is also a guilt-free load.
That's true.
There's no more, how long until you get your period?
That's true.
Sympathy pussy.
But there's how much are you going to get of that with no balls, though?
How many people do you think if you tell that you had to cut off your own balls with the hedge clippers would be like, let me see. It's a free opportunity to show people your dick. And chicks might be impressed. And they're like, God, he's tough. He's just showing off this war wound from when he had his sack cut off by a landscaper.
Saber-toothed tiger.
Why would a saber-toothed tiger cut your balls off?
It's that much cooler of a story. Yeah.
Jesus. Okay, back to cool stories. You alluded to something sex-related about parents.
Yes,
Ready to go.
Parents. Okay, so back in the day, when I discovered my parents' collection, it was around the time that my buddy Mikey discovered his. He had his hot stepmom. Oh my God, I had a crush on her all through middle school. And so I'm over at his place one day after school, and he shows me. He says, "Hey, man, I found my dad's porn collection. Come check it out." So we sneak into his parents' room, and he shows me this small cardboard box full of porn. And it's full of movies and stuff. VHSs. Inside the box is this smaller little, oblong rectangular box. And I take that out, and it is a vibrator. That's, 6 inches long and bright pink. And I'm trying to figure out how this works. I don't know why, but it just, my curiosity is how this works. Meanwhile, he selects a random VHS tape out of the box and goes and puts it in the VCR. And while he's doing that, I'm sitting there fucking around with this thing, trying to get it to turn on. And I turn the bottom, and I turn it. As I turn it, this long black pube that just works its way out of the threads. And I look at it and think, Jesus Christ, that's a vagina hair, with that nasty bush from all those videos that I've watched from my dad's. And so I drop it on the ground and shriek like a little girl, and I turn to my friend who is sitting, staring at the TV like he had just saw the little girl from Ring come out of the TV. He is frozen, he is pale, and he looks like he's about to die. When I look at the TV screen to see exactly what he's watching, it is his dad on his stepmom simultaneously throwing his dick in her butt and this vibrator that I just found in her vagina and working it. So he's watching, he's doing the minute of what we said we would rather do than sit in the room. But he's watching his parents have sex on TV, and the look on his face is priceless because it looked like he had died a little bit inside. So I had to run over to him and shake him and say, Mikey, look what I found. And he wouldn't pay attention. So I had to stop the VCR for him so that he could kind of come back into real life world. And as he did, we looked over back at the little vibrator. And of course, we both ran out of the room screaming because we were terrified of what we had found and saw. Of course. But yeah, he refused to go back into that room forever. I don't know if he ever went back into his forever. So I had to take the VCR, or take the VHS out of the VCR, throw it back, and try to remember. Did you ever stumble upon a porn collection growing up? No, it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
If he had it, it was well hidden.
You have to put it back just like you found it, or otherwise, they're gonna find out. Dad's gonna know, or stealing booze. You ever steal booze from your parents?
No. I found my dad's nunchucks, and then I told him, and he got mad at me and took them away.
Oh, see,
they were wooden, too, so they would have fucked some shit up.
Yeah. That's pretty badass. My dad's got a porn collection. Your dad has nunchucks.
Yeah, but I don't think he ever really used them.
Still, it's pretty cool.
I guess. He's kind of a pacifist. I've never seen my dad get into a physical scrum, but he had a lot of brothers, so I don't know if 45 or 50 years of pent-up aggression are going to turn him into a sadist the second somebody gets too close to him one day. And he just snaps their neck with little effort.
Sure.
The way you just described your friend Mikey's reaction to the tape, and you had to shake him, it kind of reminds me of the Goonies, when they finally find One-Eyed Willie's ship, and that kid's name is Mikey. Yeah. They're we found it, Mikey! We did it! Nobody else ever going to do it, but you believe! You had faith! It fucking makes me think of the Goonies.
Yeah.
I have nothing like that, although I remember one Easter Sunday I was trying to get a tie to wear. And then my dad's like, oh, go look in my tie drawer. So he has a little side table next to the bed, nightstand, 2 drawer. I open the bottom drawer, there's no ties. I go in the top drawer. There's half socks and half ties. I started digging through the ties. And then I found the oldest box of condoms I've ever seen in my life. That was enough for me. I was like, oh my God, there's a box of fucking Trojans. No, that's sheepskins. Oh. What the hell is my dad, Palestinian?
Oh, you said oldest you've ever seen. I figured.
That's not biblical. Oh, okay. I had never seen a box of condoms from the mid-'80s before. And this was the late 90s. This thing had been around for ever. And I guess I don't blame him for wearing a rubber with my mom because she's gross. and I never brought it up. I never brought it up because I didn't want to hear anything about it, because my mom would always make comments like, oh, I can't stand men who try to kiss with their tongue. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's how you're supposed to do it. That's how the French do it.
Yeah, well, and then I remember this other comment she made one time to my old man. Something about some black chick on TV. She's like, is that what you want? Fat lips on your dick? And I just kind of sat there and waited for a react. Yes, right, racist, right, but
Yeah.
also hilarious.
Well, yeah, hilarious.
And I wanted to be like, that's exactly what he wants, you no-tongue-kissing bitch. Shut the fuck up. But I didn't, because that would have been like a perfect moment for a sitcom that would never air on basic television. Yeah, I just, oh, god damn, my folks, bumping uglies. I don't know. They tried to have more babies before me and more after me, but it just didn't take. My mom's wretched uterus kept belching out miscarriages.
Oh.
Like lots of them, like 10. Well, one of them was a set of twins.
My
so,
God.
like 11 babies.
Jesus.
So I guess, if there is a God, he really hates her.
Yeah, no
Maybe.
more for you. No more for you.
Like, I think that you're going to have your hands full with this once. Why don't you maybe just stop? All right? The first one came out retarded, and then look at this one.
You
All
got
right?
your hands full.
Yeah, you're good. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I'm going to give a couple of shout-outs. First off, to number one fan Tim. Obligatory shout-out to... I'm going to throw out one to my friend who's probably not listening ever, Bob, who we call Bobby Murderface, who I gave that nickname to. And I'm going to give a shout-out to, I guess, my dead cat, Frankie, because why not? It's almost been 7 years. Okay, so Frankie's been dead almost as long as I've been dry from booze. March 7th, 2009. Last drop alcohol. Dry date. Coming up. Any shout-outs you want to throw?
You threw one out to your auto body place. Amco in Anoka has done
Amco.
Double A.
The one across from Hardee's?
Main Street, yeah. 7th and Main, yeah, right.
7th
Kitty
and
corner
Main.
from Hardee's.
Where
Good
they,
shit.
where the guy who owns the Ecto 1 around here parks that bitch around Halloween, and you can drive certain parts of the day and see the Ghostbuster car just sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. I'm going to plug the Libsyn page. We are at whatdowecallitpodcast.libsyn.com. That is Libsyn, Libsyn. Also, facebook.com/groups/whatdowecallitpodcast. I'm also going to plug my own blog, which is facebook.com/groups/The Truth Hurts So Good. I'm Jmann.
And I'm Bergie.
And that's the end.